Hello everyone, this is Olga from SEO Sly. So today is our weekly recap of the most important SEO news. Today I will try to be a bit shorter because I'm not sure if you want to listen to SEO news for almost 30 minutes. We'll see how it goes. I think this is episode number 5, so let's get started. So this week we don't have a lot of breaking SEO news. So first thing, as Barry Schwartz noted, Google updated its help documentation saying that using JavaScript links is fine for SEO. This isn't like a new thing. JavaScript links have been okay for Google for a very long time. It is just important to know that when we have a JavaScript link, we need to remember that we need to have a tag and we have to have tref attribute. This is what makes a link crawlable and visible for Google, and it doesn't matter if it is added dynamically with JavaScript or not. So this is the takeaway for you. Next thing, there have been some weekend turbulences around Google. If your site has been affected by those turbulences over the weekend, November 11th and November 12th, then you are probably not alone. You may want to take a look at this article. Barry Schwartz noticed that some of those turbulences have been happening over the weekends, like recently. So that's it. Next, interesting news is we have been hearing about Apple launching its own search engine for some time, and it looks like Apple won't launch its Apple search engine in at least 4 years. So whether it is a good or bad news, it's kind of hard to say, but I think this is quite interesting. Another thing, if you have a lot of traffic from Google Discover, when you see a drop, you are probably starting to panic. So on October 23rd, there was a reporting bug, and if you see a drop on that date, it doesn't mean that your site has been negatively, your traffic, Google Discover traffic has been negatively impacted. It is simply a reporting bug. Here, there is a shout out to me. If you haven't been following me on YouTube, if you are not my subscriber, I invite you to become one. I'm really working hard on my channel. I'm really adding a lot of new content, new videos, and there are a lot of nice interviews coming in the following weeks. A lot of interesting videos. So please subscribe and share this channel with others. I want to invite you to a very special episode of SEO Podcast by SEO Sly with Jason Barnard. As you know, Jason is like the expert when it comes to brand search, Google Knowledge Panels, and he really shared a ton of tips. And he was very kind enough to share a ton of interesting facts, interesting tips and tricks with me during this conversation. So it's this Thursday. Click to be notified when it airs, and I'm really sure you will like it. There will also probably be a session with a Q&A session a week or a few weeks after that, where you will be able to ask Jason a lot of questions around Google Knowledge Panels. Again, I invite you to also check my interview with Julia Nesterets from Jet Octopus. A lot of very nice tips regarding SEO crawling, regarding Jet Octopus. This is the fastest SEO crawler on Earth, and the same SEO crawl, another great tool for reporting, for making you understand the data way better. They have also recently launched a Chrome extension that is super cool. It has all the SEO data you need, so I strongly recommend you install this Chrome extension because I am pretty sure you will like it. Google has published an interesting interactive video game on YouTube, which is basically about helping you to understand the right to be forgotten better. When we have when you can ask Google to remove certain results about yourself, in what circumstances it is possible, in what circumstances it is not possible. So definitely check this one out. And here a very interesting article from Joy Hawkins. So she did a small test, basically whether increasing the number of reviews is a ranking factor, a positive ranking factor, and can help you you rank better. Reviews on Google Business Profile. So basically, the takeaway is that if you have fewer than 10 reviews, it may really be a ranking boost, but after you have those 10 reviews, it doesn't really like help you. Here's a nice graph. So what happens if you have 3 reviews? If you have 16, then your positions improve. If you have 31, it doesn't really work that well this time. So this is basically the law of diminishing returns in action. So if you're successful with one tactic once, it doesn't mean that if you keep repeating it, you will be like repeating your success. So that's a very interesting study. Take a look. Okay, another tip. So here John Mueller talks about handling negative SEO attacks. So basically, he suggests we should ignore negative SEO attacks. So negative SEO is when a competitor tries to do some mischievous things, usually by pointing millions links at you. So your competitor is basically trying to derank you, and Google and John Mueller says that this is something you can ignore. And there is a very interesting quote from him. So think of it this way: if your competitors are competent, they won't build links for you. If your competitors are incompetent, the links won't have any effect. So this is like, I think, a nice takeaway for you. And another small tip, small news. So basically, some site there was on Reddit there was a thread, and some site lost traffic, and the moment the site lost traffic was kind of coinciding with a problem with usability. And the owner of the site, this mobile usability fixed it, and was hoping that the traffic would return, but it didn't. And basically what John Mueller is saying, that this was like a coincidence, and probably the owner should look at the quality, at really what's in the content, not necessarily that this specific error in GSC was responsible for the drop in traffic. And of course, there can be a technical errors that can actually impact your traffic, but in many cases, those errors showed by different tools have nothing to do with actually what's going to happen to you. So he recommends taking a look at Google Quality Rater guidelines. If you haven't read that document yet, I strongly recommend you do. And next, here's a very interesting article from Gabe. So in this article, basically, Glenn shares a bunch of tools that can help you determine whether a specific piece of content has been written by a human or by AI. And as Glenn says, he has been asked this question millions of times, and he shares a few tools he finds useful. But of course, as he says, this is not foolproof, and those tools can often be wrong, as is often the case with tools. Here, a new post from John Mueller's randoms. So basically, John suggests a different way of making you findable on Mastodon if you decided to move away from Twitter to Mastodon. So he suggests that you do not necessarily have to like host your own server, which is not necessarily an efficient way. It is better to simply make it easier for others to discover you, for example, by searching your domain. This is a bit technical process, so if you want to like do this, you may want to follow this tutorial. To be honest, I started setting up Mastodon for myself, but I got lost, and I'm very busy, so I don't even have time to answer people on LinkedIn right away or on Twitter very often. So I decided that okay, I'm not going to do that move now and spend time on figuring this out. I will simply stay on Twitter and we'll see what happens. By the way, Marie Haynes, her newsletter, a shout out to Marie Haynes, has had a very interesting thoughts on how Twitter may evolve in the future. I strongly recommend you check that out. I really think that Mary is kind of in the right place when it comes to this topic. Here is a study from Moz. This is about whether the number of links matters, which is, of course, we know that it was like 10 or 15 years ago when the number of links mattered. it is the relevancy of links that really matters. And you may want to get through that article and see more examples, more details, more data. Here's a funny funny quote from John Mueller. So keep counting your links if that makes you happy. It's good to have some source of pleasure nowadays, but it is not necessarily something that will help you with SEO. And the last article I would like to share with you is from Onely from Ziemek Bućko. So basically, Ziemek did a test, and basically what he found out is that Google needs 9 more time to crawl JavaScript than to crawl plain HTML pages. So there is like this rendering queue you need to remember about. So I strongly recommend you take a look at that. And generally on the Onely blog there are a lot of super technical articles that can really shed light on a lot of nitty gritty technical SEO things that we don't necessarily think about on a daily basis, but they really make sense. So check that article. And I think that's all when it comes to the news for this week. I hope I will be able to publish next SEO news on next Monday or Tuesday, like I did today. So subscribe to my SEO newsletter. I am trying to make it better and better as well. So if you are not my subscriber to my SEO newsletter, please become one. So have a nice day, and I will see you next week or this week with a few interesting interviews with SEO. So thank you and bye bye.